Welcome to the Deep Dive, your daily briefing on the most critical AI news.
Glad to be here.
You're here to get informed quickly and thoroughly, and well, that's exactly what we aim to do today.
Yep. We're going to extract the essential insights from all the AI developments lately. It's been quite a week.
It really has. A lot going on with model capabilities, industry adoption, the tools,
Yeah.
everything.
Exactly. So we're here to give you that clear, concise overview you need, hopefully, to stay ahead.
All right, let's jump right in. Model performance. There's been some interesting chatter around OpenAI's O3.
Yes, definitely. The initial buzz around O3's benchmark performance. Well, it's being looked at again with more recent data.
So not quite living up to the early hype.
It seems initial reports suggested, really strong performance on complex reasoning. But independent checks, they're showing maybe more modest results.
Right.
It just underlines how important it is to look past those first claims and really scrutinize the real-world results.
Good reminder. The AI landscape is always under the microscope. But interestingly, within OpenAI's own lineup, O3 is finding a specific role.
That's right. When you put it head-to-head with O4 Mini and GPT 4.1, people are actually giving good feedback on O3 for specifically financial modeling tasks.
Okay, so specialization might be the key there.
It suggests that trend, yeah. More specialized models tuned for certain jobs.
And speaking of new models, xAI just dropped Grok 3 Mini. What's the significance there?
Grok 3 Mini looks like a push towards efficiency and accessibility in AI. So rather than just bigger and bigger models, xAI seems to be focusing on a smaller footprint, maybe faster processing.
Which it could
Broaden the use cases,
Yeah.
Make AI more practical for more applications.
That efficiency angle,
Hmm?
it really connects with what Microsoft's doing with BitNet B1.58 2B4T. The resource use on that one is, well, pretty striking.
Oh, absolutely groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Getting that B1.58 to 2 billion parameter model, right?
Mhm.
But it runs on just 400 millimeter of memory. No GPU needed.
Wow.
They achieved that efficiency by training it on a truly massive data set. It could seriously revolutionize AI on devices with limited resources. Think edge computing.
Yeah, opens up a lot of possibilities. Exciting to think about AI becoming even more, well, everywhere. So beyond these specific models, what's the vibe in the broader research field?
The underlying LLM research. It's still moving incredibly fast. We won't go into every single paper today, obviously, but the last week saw some really significant work pushing things forward.
Okay, good to know the engine is still running hot. Now let's shift gears. How is AI actually being used across different sectors? Starting with Moderna, they seem to be going all in.
They really are. Moderna is weaving AI deep into their operations. They're treating it like a basic utility, think electricity or water, but for drug discovery, development, even regulatory stuff.
At scale.
It's notable. Over 1,800 internal GPTs reportedly being used. That's a huge strategic bet on AI transforming their whole business.
1,800. That's
Yeah.
a massive internal AI system. And healthcare generally seems like a hotbed, right? Like Assort Health getting funding.
Yeah, Assort Health just pulled in $22 million. They're developing voice AI agents specifically for healthcare settings.
To do what exactly?
The aim is to automate how patient calls are managed. Could improve efficiency, maybe patient access to basic info.
So AI is getting more interactive in healthcare. Okay, switching fields entirely. Even
Fair.
top-tier sports are using AI now for psychology.
That's the report, yeah. Premier League clubs, Brighton mentioned specifically, are apparently using AI for psychological profiling of their elite athletes,
Profiling how?
trying to get insights into things like mental resilience, leadership potential, adding another layer to evaluating and recruiting players.
Interesting. A more holistic view of athletes. And the applications just keep diversifying. AI in space for environmental monitoring.
Yep, there's a startup launching satellites with AI on board. The goal is to monitor environmental problems, illegal fishing, oil spills, that kind of thing.
How does the AI help?
By analyzing the satellite images in real time, the AI can help spot these activities faster and, ideally, help authorities respond or mitigate the damage.
Okay, so healthcare, sports, environment, AI's reach is definitely expanding. Let's pivot now to the infrastructure and tools making all this possible. Redis 8 has a new feature.
It does. Redis 8 now includes something called a vector set data type. It's specifically designed to speed up vector similarity searches.
Which are important because...
They're fundamental for a lot of AI tasks. Think recommendations, finding similar information. So it shows how even core database tech is adapting for AI.
Makes sense. Meta AI's been busy too, releasing Coral. What's that about?
Coral, that's their collaborative reasoner framework. The focus is on getting large language models to work together better on complex problems.
Because that's still a challenge.
Yeah, LLMs are great solo, but effective collaboration, still an active research area. Coral's meant to help measure and improve that.
Got it. And it's not just about checking performance. Nvidia is trying to optimize the training itself with Clim.
Right. NVIDIA's Climb framework is all about the data you feed the models during training. It aims to intelligently curate those data mixtures to ultimately boost the final model's performance.
And even OpenAI, with their advanced models, are thinking about the practical side, the enterprise rollout.
They are. They've put out a technical playbook for integrating AI into large companies. It's based on their work with big partners, sharing lessons learned for getting AI adopted successfully at scale.
Okay, and improving how these models reason seems key. There's a new framework, ReZero.
Yes, ReZero comes from Menlo. It's a reinforcement learning approach specifically for retrieval augmented generation, or RAG systems.
How does it help?
It basically rewards the language model for trying queries again, refining them to find better information. The goal is more relevant retrieval, which leads to better reasoning.
Makes sense. And Meta AI, again, with an open vision language model, PLM?
Right, the perception language model, or PLM. It's their open model for visual tasks, like image recognition. Making it open is key, helps the research community build on it.
Okay, lots happening on the tools and infrastructure front. Let's switch to the business side of AI. How are things looking for, say, AI evaluation startups?
Interesting data point there. Weights and biases, a big player, has strong overall revenue, right? But apparently only a small slice of that comes from their specific AI evaluation product right now.
Suggesting what?
Suggests that maybe the market for those specialized evaluation tools is still, finding its feet, still maturing.
Interesting. And what about funding flows? Comparing AI startups to, say, direct-to-consumer ones in India?
Well, in 2024 so far, AI startups in India have actually snagged slightly more funding overall than D2C startups.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but there are fewer AI startups in total. So you could argue the D2C market might actually be more competitive for investment, even with slightly less total funding. Different
Yeah.
dynamics.
Right, right. We're also seeing shifts in how AI software is priced.
Definitely. The trend, not just in AI, but software generally, is moving away from those fixed per-user licenses towards more flexible SaaS models, pricing based on usage or value delivered.
More adaptable. And even small user habits can have big cost implications, apparently. Sam Altman mentioned politeness.
Yeah, the OpenAI CEO pointed out that users saying please and thank you to ChatGPT, it actually costs millions in extra computing power just because of the sheer volume of those interactions.
Wow, that's quite something. Okay, on the hardware side, Huawei unveiled a new AI chip, the Ascend 920. That seems significant given, well, everything.
Very significant. Huawei's Ascend 920 is aimed at mass production. It's clearly positioned as a domestic Chinese alternative to Nvidia chips, especially given the U.S. export restrictions.
A strategic move. But despite global tech tensions, talent still moves around. France is trying to attract U.S. scientists.
Yes, and Meta's chief AI scientist, Yann LeCun, commented on that. He sees France's initiative to bring over U.S. AI researchers as pretty astute, especially with ongoing debates in the U.S. about research funding and immigration.
Right. And finally, on the business front, some strong opinions about AI's impact on jobs already.
One venture capitalist was quoted saying they believe AI is already fully replacing people, causing significant job displacement right now. Strong take.
Definitely a strong take. Okay, that brings us nicely to the future outlook. Some predictions are pretty aggressive.
Yeah, you could say that. There's one forecast floating around suggesting we might see a 24-month sprint to human-level AI by 2027.
2 years, that's
Yeah.
incredibly ambitious.
Very ambitious, yeah, based on current trends and what they expect in breakthroughs. We'll see.
Indeed. YouTube also sees big AI advancements coming soon, specifically for language barriers.
They do. YouTube anticipates that automatic, really high-quality video dubbing into pretty much any language could be a reality in maybe the next 5 years.
That would be huge for content accessibility.
Absolutely. Dramatically expand who can watch what.
And we're also seeing reflections on the key players, like the recent book on Nvidia and Jensen Huang.
Yeah, lots of commentary highlighting just how central Nvidia and its CEO have been to this whole AI explosion, recognizing their strategic importance.
There's also this idea floating around that the next big AI leap won't come from models just reading text, but from learning by doing.
Right. That perspective suggests that for AI to get truly smarter, the models need to learn actively through interacting with an environment, getting feedback, much more like how humans learn skills.
Less passive consumption, more active learning. Interesting. And these increasingly capable LLMs, are they a threat to traditional software businesses?
That's a big discussion point. As LLMs get better, people are asking, could they start to just do the tasks that many SaaS applications currently handle? Could they displace them?
A potential disruption there. And finally, on the really futuristic edge, turning brainwaves into speech.
Yeah, researchers are making progress on what they call voice prostheses, using AI and brain implants to decode neural signals and generate fluent speech.
For people who can't speak.
Exactly, offering real hope for individuals with severe communication impairments. It's still early days, but promising.
Amazing potential. Okay, one last news item today. This one is about open source and licensing, specifically Meta calling Llama open source.
Right, it's a bit complex. There's a theory put forward by Simon Willison, among others, that Meta's labeling of llama models as open source, even though they have some usage restrictions, might be strategically linked to the EU's AI Act.
How so?
Because the AI Act has specific definitions and potentially lighter rules for models designated as open source, which might differ slightly from the standard open source definition used elsewhere.
So it could be a regulatory strategy in navigating the EU rules.
That's the speculation. It highlights that open source in the AI context is still kind of being defined and has real regulatory and business implications.
It certainly seems like the definitions and what they mean are still very much in flux.
Precisely. The rules, the licenses, how these powerful models are shared, it's all still evolving.
Well, that wraps up our run-through of the key AI news for today. It's clear things are moving incredibly fast.
Absolutely. This is really just a snapshot of some of the most important developments this week. We definitely encourage listeners to dig deeper into the areas that interest them most.
Yeah, definitely. So considering everything we just covered, the model progress, the agent frameworks, the business shifts, the ethical debates, what do you think is the most significant immediate impact we might see from all this on the wider tech landscape? It feels like a crucial question right now.
It really is a vital point to consider as these innovations just keep rolling out week after week.
Indeed. Well, thank you for joining us for today's briefing on AI news. We'll be back tomorrow with more updates.